Hello, and welcome to another episode on the Move Talk Thrive podcast. Emily with you today doing this short little intro section. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been in your ears. We have both missed recording, and our podcast is as much as a catch-up time for us as it is giving you guys lovely information. But we have missed being back in your ears. We are back, and we are going to kick off today with one of my most favorite episodes so far, I think. We are talking to the amazing Rebecca Reinking from Adventures in Speech Pathology. So if you're a speechy, you will definitely have known her or come across her work. Most people have used her resources to help them with treating children with speech sound disorders. If you are not a speechy and you've never heard of her, you can check her out at Adventures in Speech Pathology on all social media channels. However, I'm just going to read you her bio. She's a pretty impressive lady and has done so many inspirational and exciting things. So she is an Australian speech pathologist who helps SLPs or speech language pathologists feel more confident treating speech sound disorders. She firmly believes in know better, do better, and tries to share her clinical learnings with other species. She's created and published evidence-based speech therapy materials, the ones you wish you had at the start of your career. And it all started as she couldn't find the materials that she needed to help her students in her therapy sessions. Her materials cover different phonological patterns, speech sounds, and therapy approaches. And recently, she has expanded into her YouTube channel to support teachers and parents. She has a national speaking tour currently going on called Which Phonological Intervention Should I Choose? And she has recently released 2 online courses and plans to expand her online courses. She has presented at the Speech Pathology Australia conferences, Bjorn Speech Cruise, SLP Summit online events, and Bright Ideas Media Speech Sound Disorder series. So she is such an advocate for our profession. She has got so many good resources to help us help our children in our sessions. And I can't wait for you to listen to our conversation. We talk about all things from business to mum life, her journey in the early years of being a speechy, and then what it looks like to have a big public presence online, how she runs that, how that works out and plays, and all the back end stuff that you don't see on social media. I really love this conversation. I hope you do too. Listen in and enjoy.
We are child development obsessed, business besties, and mums, and we're here to spill all our secrets.
We have a combined 30 years experience working with children, and each episode we will bring you up-to-date research and evidence-based strategies to set your children up to thrive.
I'm Lizzy Dawson, Australian exercise physiologist.
I'm Emily Mackey, Australian speech pathologist,
and this is the Move Talk Thrive podcast.
All right. I am so excited for this episode. Me and Lizzy are here with the amazing Rebecca from Adventures in Speech Pathology, which if you're in the speechy world, you would know of her. If you're other allied health professionals, if you don't know her, go to her page right now, Adventures in Speech Pathology, and have a look. We are so excited to have a chat to you or to her today. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. It's been a couple of years since I've been on a podcast.
Ooh.
And I'm usually, I can get a little bit tangential and chatty on all things. I'm so passionate about this career and where it can take us, and as an allied health professional as well.
Yeah, well,
amazing.
Join the crowd. I don't know how many times me and Lizzy start talking about different topics, and we're thinking we've got to come up with a name for the episode. And we're like, what should we put the name? Because we had so many different topics in this episode.
I know. I think we're going to go there. We've already had our little pre-chat where we said we've got to start recording right now.
Yes.
People need to hear this.
Yes. All right. I'm going to kick us off with a question. All right. So everybody knows you as Rebecca from Adventures in Speech Pathology. How long have you been in the career for? How long have you been in the profession for?
17. Oh, do you know, I get confused now. I think it's 17 years.
17 years.
When you start counting. I think it's 17 years, but I did take a year off. Like when I first finished my master's degree, I was one of those speech pathologists who said, you know what? I need to travel. And so I backpacked for a year. So I don't know if I'm allowed to count that year or not.
We'll just say 17 years.
I
17
did do
years.
lots of cultural learning, and I was listening to accents, and I was using my speech pathology brain, I felt like.
It all
I was
counts,
like
right?
transcribing, words and things, like learning. So yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to count that. So it's
I think count it, take it.
16 or
Lived
17.
experience.
Yes.
Lived experience.
Yeah.
Me and Lizzy both have stories like that. I remember I finished uni, I was like, I'm out of here. And I backpacked, I think for like 2 months before I started working. We love
And
traveling.
I did it during uni. I went and did
Mm.
exchange.
Oh, me too. I did exchange
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, in England, in the UK.
Oh, so good. I was in the States.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. Such a good way to study and like get through the years and have a good time at the same time.
It is, and I kind of feel sad. I feel like maybe early career allied health professionals, that model or that option, it's not as prevalent or as easy
Yeah.
as what it might have been. Maybe.
It's definitely not as common.
No, it's not.
I
No,
think
why?
they all want to get some hours in the industry and like save up and buy houses. Like they're like fully trying to grow up really quickly.
Yeah.
That was not me
I'm
at
here
all.
for the travel. So
Yeah, me too.
travel.
Me too.
My
We are
career has
too.
been, we can get into those questions, but my career has been going
Well,
to lots
that's
of
what we'll talk about. So
Yeah, let's
17
start
years.
there.
You haven't
Yes.
always been misadventures in speech pathology. So talk us through them. What did the early years look like for you?
I was one of those people who just felt like I had to just get the experience, and I would work anywhere just to get experience, because I kind of felt like that would just lead to my next best job, if that makes sense. So when I got back from backpacking, this is crazy. So when I was talking to a colleague about this, when I got back from backpacking, I had to try to get a job before all the new graduates were coming out, because they would probably get the job before me. And there was literally not even one job going in the state of New South Wales, not even one job. And now, like, I've been hearing from business owners that you can't even hire people. So
Yeah.
there was nothing for me. And I just said, like, I just have to work anywhere just to get that experience. And so I found a job. I applied for a job in Mount Isa, like in
Oh, wow.
Queensland. And, I just was like, I'll just do it. Let's just get the experience in. And then I got a phone call 10 minutes later, and they said, oh, sorry, that job's been taken. Would you like the job in Emerald instead? And I said, absolutely. And she's like, great, we'll interview you, call you tomorrow, but it sounds like you're a shoo-in. And I said, awesome. And then she hung up the phone, and I was like, where is Emerald? Like, where have I just said I would work? I had to Google it.
Oh, that's so
Like,
good.
it's in central Queensland. It's like 4
Yeah.
hours inland from Rockhampton. Like, yeah.
Whoa.
So I did that first, because I just said to myself, I just need to get the experience.
Yeah.
Just need to get the experience. Yeah, I loved it. It was probably my favorite job I've done, to be
Isn't
honest.
that interesting? Sometimes I feel like you've just got to say yes. I feel like I know that whole thing of when you say no, you're saying yes to something else, but there is something about saying yes and just going, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's figure
Don't
it out.
overthink it.
Yeah.
Probably my personality though as well. I've always been, well, actually newly diagnosed like last week with ADHD. So my career progression makes a lot of sense, because every 2 years I actually change jobs. And I'd say to myself, like, I'm just a bit bored. Like, I kind of felt like, okay, I've learned what I've needed from working rural and remote. Like, what's next? Come on, bring it on. So my next job, I went to Samoa, and I was the only speech pathologist in the entire country working there for a year. And
we talk about waiting lists here. Oh my goodness, that would have been next level.
Yeah, I was in a school. It was like the government, if there's any actually allied health professionals who are interested, I think they've changed it to Scope Global now, but the Australian government, they've got like aid programs where they need like OTs or speech pathologists, to work in developing countries. And so I was on like a contract, I guess, where, I worked in a school, and I had, the project I was to do, and it was amazing. Yeah.
So you did that for 2 years, did you?
That was 1 year. Yeah. And then I met a guy, I met an American guy and fell in love. And then took me 6 months to try to get a visa and do all that to go to America. So then I worked in America for 2 years.
Ah,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
okay.
Whereabouts in
And
America?
In Washington State,
Yeah,
like
nice.
Seattle. So yeah, so this is like my career has been like really like completely changing service models because that was a school-based SLP. And I kind of felt like every 2 years by changing jobs, it really taught me so much, so many
Mm,
more skills. Like
mm,
I had to learn all about IEPs and how to really write to advocate for the child and had to really learn goal writing, which I didn't really have to do as much
yeah.
in the other places, but then I didn't have to write session notes. And I was like, yes, like this is the best. So it was so interesting, every 2 years or every 1 year changing jobs. It just really let me know what I liked, what I didn't like. And I felt like for 10 years, I was really trying to find like, who am I as a speech pathologist? Like, what do I like? What don't I like? What do I want out of a job? What makes me happy?
Yeah, yeah. And I think that changing and even doing it in different countries gives you the experience to see how different countries and governments are doing things. Like, how amazing is that? And if you're a creative person, like it would spark you to go, oh, we should be doing this here and we could be doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think that varied experience is so powerful.
Yeah, and I really encourage, especially like early career speech pathologists, to not be afraid to, or even any speech pathologist, just to stick in one role. Like,
mhm.
yeah, don't be afraid. It's okay to change if you're interested in change. I know some people, really love their roles,
Yeah.
but I think it is nice, or even just to advocate for a different role within your place,
Yeah.
just to challenge yourself and push yourself. And like I said, I don't know if it's the ADHD reflecting, but I'd get bored is the easiest way to say it. I kind of just felt like my brain wants to do more, or my brain wants more of a challenge. And I think that's what I was seeking.
Yeah. Do
Some
you think you have like you obviously have a really big capacity, like to hold lots of things, to be doing lots of different things at once? That might be the superpower of ADHD. That's what a lot of
Mm,
people say who are entrepreneurs, like, I can do 5 things at once and I'm doing them all really well, or, like you must have a very large capacity to be like, okay, I've mastered everything in this workplace. Now I'm going to go to another workplace. And I guess you've got to start again from scratch. If it's totally new population, totally new country, that takes a lot to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've just also just turned 40 now as well, and I feel like my 30s was like my career, the 20s and 30s was really about that. Now I feel like I maybe probably burnt myself out with taking on all
mm,
that stuff, to be
Mm,
yeah,
honest. I'm
interesting.
actually looking to like let go of
Simplify.
some things. Yeah.
Mm,
Maybe because I'm a parent as well. Like I feel like when you have kids, and when you work
yeah.
with kids, like that's a lot of kids in a day.
yes. It adds a
Yeah.
whole nother dimension onto it. It's just not about, I mean, it's not about you being like, I'm just going to work, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be here at this time. It's about getting how many other people you have in your family organized to get to that one appointment. And if you're doing that continuously over and over and over again, it does have a very significant mental load on you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like I had more energy in my 20s and 30s and just very multi-passionate. And now I'm yeah.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing,
Streamlining.
right? So, you did that for about 10 years. Did you then find out like what made you happy? What did you come to
Mm,
realize after that 10 years of chopping and changing and doing all the different roles?
Well, I went into private practice. I was working for someone else's practice. It's interesting. When I was at university, like I remember being told like new grads shouldn't work in private practices because it wasn't common back then. And so I always had that in my head, like, am I talented enough? Do I have enough skills to work in a private practice? Like, can I
mm,
charge people? So my first few years in a private practice was hard because I had a lot of doubt and I had to really do you know what? I had to really accept that there are areas in our field that I do not like
Mm,
and that I got a lot of anxiety from. Like when I saw that I had a 2-year-old for like a 2-year-old that wasn't talking yet, I used to get such anxiety. I'm like, I don't know how to play with the 2-year-old. I don't
mm,
know the songs. Like I don't think I'm fun. And I would just I just felt like it wasn't me. And so I went through a lot, like a couple of years in private practice, going, you know what? AAC does not click for me. Like, I just don't think this brings out the best me. And so it took a few years to really realize, well, I've always seen a lot of kids with speech sound disorders. I think even from all my student years, I always had a lot of speech sound disorder kids. And I just feel like my brain switches off and I just get that one area so well. And I think as well, I get such like a dopamine kick, like immediately, like if I can help a child say an S sound and they couldn't before, like straight away, I'm like, yes, like we did this, like I'm so good at my job. And I just walk out feeling so good. And I think I just really enjoy that feeling. And so, yeah, I think after about 10 or 11 years, I realized, do you know what? I only want to do this one area that I think I'm really good at, that makes me really happy. And for me, in order for me to do that, I had to go out on my own, because I understand that when you work in someone else's practice, it's kind of hard to say, can you only just put.
Yeah.
So I would love to advocate and maybe suggest that practice owners really think about areas that their clinicians love and are so good at, and for employees like speech therapists to really say, do you know what? I think I love speech sound disorders, or I think I really love early intervention. Can we cultivate a caseload that really lends myself to my passion area? I think a lot of us would be a lot
absolutely,
to be honest.
Yeah, that's what we do. We also do it with the clients, because we think, well, if you're better trained in CAS, well, we'll put you with this clinician rather than just putting you with anybody, because that person's done more professional development and then have niche down in that topic, because you can't just be expected to see all these different children, and all the areas are so niche.
Our field is so overwhelming. Allied health is, it's just like, I hated that idea of a jack of all trades, master of none. I'm going to master one. Like,
I think there's so much to that. Like exercise physiology is exactly the same. We've got MUSC, we've got chronic disease, and in that we've got cardiovascular, we've got cancer, we've got diabetes, and you guys come out and they're like, I just want to learn it all. And I'm like, cool. Well, we've got clients in all of those areas, but where do you see yourself in 5 years? And let's map that out so we can facilitate that for you, basically, because you can offer all of those things for your clients, and a clinic or a business doesn't need to necessarily niche down, but you can have clinicians within that business that have got their niche, and you're kind of then fulfilling your clinicians and the community as well.
I love that. I think more allied health professionals could be happier.
Totally.
In a workplace.
It's interesting because you sort of, because like you said, there's so many different areas that we all have to learn as allied health professionals. I feel like it took me years to actually learn. It's not just like you have a new grad year. No, because I feel like in my new grad year, I got no stutterers. So in some areas you can accelerate ahead. And then in other areas, you're still a new grad. And I feel like it took me probably 5 years to actually have had a good road with all these different people. I was like you, chopping and changing jobs, to actually go, okay, I feel like a speechy. I feel like I'm legit. And that's 5 years, right? Like that's not a short amount of time. It is short if you look at your entire career. But it takes time, right? You can't rush those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So what did you do? So you decided, right, I'm going to open and just see kids with speech sound disorders.
Yeah. And that was really hard because no one else was really doing that. And so I just had to accept for a period that I was hardly going to get any clients for a while. And that my books were going to look small, because I was really quite firm that I didn't want to see the other areas and assess other areas within, my field. So that was hard. That was a hard 6.
How long did it take you? 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. But I'll put out there that was 2 days a week, working 2 days a week.
Yeah, right.
Just to cultivate that one niche, Yeah.
So how did you figure out whether they were just a speech sound client?
Yeah, that took a lot of training, admin to field some questions.
Yeah.
And then look, sometimes people would come in and I'd be like, oh, this is language, or like, this isn't me. And I'd actually just have to be very honest and say, I'm not going to charge you for today. I don't think I'm the right person for you. And
Because I
help them
think
find a professional, like another speech pathologist
Mm.
who saw a more like widespread caseload.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. And I think there's a lot of education that needs to be, executed to do that. Because I'm obviously not a speechy and I've got a child in speech. But before I met Em and before I've been through that process, I didn't realize like the different things that you guys did. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was like, "Oh, her child had a receptive language difference." And I said, "Oh yeah, you need to see a speechy." And she's like, "Really, a speechy for that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's receptive language." And I just think there's a lot of education that needs to happen because that's not intuitive.
Yeah.
For most parents, yeah, they don't know. They
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
that was really hard, but I think because I've got another business which is called Adventures in Speech Pathology, like having that just allowed me to take that deep dive. So I actually do feel lucky that I had like another supplemental income to just try to go for this. Can I only go out on my own and see one little niche area?
So
Like a
adventure.
feeding therapist or something. You know how like there are real niche people in
Yeah.
our field? Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't really heard or met many like speech sound disorder niche people.
So you had your adventures in speech pathology before you did your own business.
Yeah. Yes.
Take us back there.
Yeah,
Okay, when did that
yeah.
start then?
Oh, it's a funny story. Okay, so
Love it.
when how do I start this? Okay, so when I was in America, I had a lot of I got into a room, right? I was in a school and they're like, this is your room. And it was literally empty. Like it was empty. And they said, here's your caseload. I had 90 students I was expected to see. And I had no material. I had nothing.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, okay. And because I had a board maker CD, which a lot of therapists might be familiar with, it's got lots of pictures.
If you're old, you had the
Yeah,
CD.
yeah. But like you could type in a word like cat and it would bring up a picture of a cat, so you could make material, you could make things. And so I just started making stuff on Boardmaker for my 90 clients, and I started sharing them freely on the internet as well. Under the banner Adventures in Speech Pathology. And the name Adventures, so the guy who I met in Samoa, who brought me to America, I ended up marrying him. So
Oh,
Okay,
fun.
I was gonna is this awkward? Is this your husband or is this another guy?
no, it's the same guy. I started sharing more about how speech pathologists could like work in different places because I'd, done a bit of travel, like working around the world kind of thing.
What year was this?
2011.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
pretty early
started,
on.
freely sharing the Boardmaker stuff. Now, I didn't realize that you could not share those materials PDF
Oh,
form because it actually violated the copyright.
yeah,
Yes.
You
of
had to share it
course.
as the actual file. And I didn't know that. And when I found that out, I took down my whole website because I said, I don't want to be doing the wrong thing. I'm a really big advocate for being a know better, do better professional and a know better, do better SLP. So once I realized that the PDF file I couldn't share, but I could share like the Boardmaker file, it was just the file, right? I just was like, you know what? I thought I was helping. I was doing this, freely sharing. I'm just going to take down my website because I just I don't want to get in trouble. And so I took down everything. And then maybe yeah, when I had a baby, I got bored.
Uh-huh.
4 years later, I did. I was like, I need to do something with my brain. Like, I just kind of felt like, yes, I'm a stay-at-home mum, but like, I love speech pathology and I needed to do something. That's, again, probably the ADHD, needing mental stimulation. And so I started to purchase clip art the right way, respecting terms of use and copyright. And I started to remake all those materials and I started to sell them online. And that's how everything with Adventures in Speech Pathology started.
Yeah, amazing.
Me and Lizzy did the same thing. In mat leave, we both then started second businesses, which was online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exact
Because you're
same
sitting
thought.
there. I feel like you need,
You're sitting there.
yeah, you're sitting there, babe on boob, going for a walk, listening to like inspiring podcasts or books or whatever. And I just think you've got space and you start to get ideas. And then for me, I just started to structure out my week and I was like, okay, on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays in sleep time, I'm going to work on this business and like work it out. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays would be my like just pure mum days where I wouldn't do any work and I just kind of chill. And I had my clinics as well, but it was good. It felt good to create. I think it was really, really rewarding.
Absolutely. I love it so much. And then once I started to really niche down into speech sound disorders, I found that I was only making materials for speech sound disorders. And then if I could show you materials I made in like 2017, like, I would love to, because I'm so, again, being a know better, do better, speech pathologist, SLP, I really started to look at everything in terms of the research and the evidence and go, I need to start combining more of that into my products. So I really started to evolve my resources and make sure that they were evidence-based, or that I was considering the evidence when I was making them. And everything always stemmed from, I can't find what I need from my clients, I'm going to make it myself. Or like, that page in that workbook only has 10 little pictures. That's not enough practices for my kid or for me to send for homework. I need something with 50 or 100. If I can't find it, I'm going to make it. So I had that real attitude of, I'm just going to make it myself and
solve your own problems.
Yes.
Solving a problem and helping clients, because you're like, instead of telling the parent, here's one worksheet that doesn't really work and you just need to keep doing the same one, it keeps the child motivated to have more practices on there.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, I love I love helping people all around the world. Like, we have over 120 countries download our materials. And I love when I think about that really big impact. Yeah, it really fills my cup.
That's amazing. And so so you obviously were creating these resources that you needed for families. You're obviously entrepreneurial because then you thought, hey, I can actually share this with other speeches. And then now you're in 120 countries. Is that so people that are buying your resources, they are speeches and parents?
Okay, so it's supposed to be for speech pathologists. I personally write my materials for speech pathologists.
Yeah,
cool. No parents buy them, but I always say to them, when parents ask me, I just say ethically, like, I haven't seen your child. I don't know what your child's goals are. I also think a lot of it can be parents who just think, I want to help my child, they're not in therapy, I need something for S. But as we all know, as allied health professionals, you need a diagnosis.
Yeah.
It's like you saying, I've got low energy, I'm just going to go to the chemist and get some iron tablets. Well, what if it's not iron? What if it's So I do not create anything for parents yet, because if I do want to make support materials, I want to make sure, like my personal ethics, I want to make sure that they're not using my materials in place of getting a proper assessment and proper intervention designed to really support the child. So I haven't figured that out yet, but I would love to support parents somehow.
It's tricky because speech sound disorders are very specific.
And I think you are supporting parents, but you're doing it through providing resources to speeches. And
I'll say, check with your speech pathologist, and then it's clear if they do or don't have one.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's about using those resources partnered with therapy so that it's you know, used in the right way, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
So just take it back. I'm thinking you make it sound so easy. You're like, I'm just going to put my resources out there and do a website. And like, how did you get people to find you? How did you get people to know your resources? And did you put the website together yourself? Like that must be in so many hours.
Yeah, I
What
learnt
was that?
code. Oh,
Yeah,
gosh,
what was that
it's so easy
process?
these days. Yeah, I learnt code for the website. Yeah, I taught myself code and I just did a WordPress website all by myself. And then I'm going to say that I was in the really lucky time period where Teachers Pay Teachers, which is the platform that I sell, had just started and Instagram had just started. And like blogging. So I was one of those early people, and I honestly think I got in at the right time. Yeah, really. Like I'm doing, and I've got a really big social media profile now, but the growth and everything is ridiculously slow. It's been so slow for so long. And I say to myself, like, I'm very lucky that I really think I got in at the right time in all of those areas.
Yeah.
To help grow. But then I also think niching and being that person where people can go, speech sound disorders, who do I need? Rebecca. Like to really have and own that one area. And our accent, like I have half of my followers are American. They love the Australian accent. It really, really helps. And I think as well, in such a global, you can follow anyone you want on social media. I think there's something nice about following Australian people or people who live in your country, or even for people outside of the country. I think I can say this for speech pathology. The speech pathology social media field is very dominated by American speech pathologists. And a lot of us don't relate because we don't do IEPs and we don't have 90 kids on our caseload and we don't do group therapy. Like so many aspects of our profession isn't relatable. We don't treat rhotic R sound, like there's so much that doesn't relate. So I think that uniqueness of being Australian also kind of helped as well.
Yeah. Well, it's good for everyone to hear because a lot of people these days will look at you and go, oh, that's been easy. But it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of time.
Like the amount of free hour. I was actually saying I would love to, in a normal week, calculate like how long it takes to make a reel, 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
the questions on Instagram. This, like there is so much time that you're technically not getting paid for. And when you're starting things up, and you two would both know, like I was working 40-hour weeks with a newborn, because it was like when it was nap time, or I'd wake up at 5 a.m. or when she went to bed at 7 p.m., I'm working. And, maybe selling $100 a month of resources online, but doing these 40-hour weeks. So it was not easy.
No.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Things that are worthwhile and good things take time. And a lot of people these days try to rush it and go, oh, I want everything to be instant. And I just feel like if I put out stuff, I should just have people buying and downloading. And the reality is it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to actually then bring something forward and bring it into the public eye. And then even when you're in the public eye, there's a lot that goes with that, right? Like you said, people DMing, people talking, there's always complaints. No matter how you try to help people, there's always people that have got issues. So there's so much that goes in the back end, but a lot of people don't realize that. But if you're listening and you're wanting to start something, it takes commitment, time, and blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Yeah. And then navigating the social media has been up and down for me as well. Yeah. I think our field, we're such people pleasers and we love to help. The amount of time I would sit on my phone answering people's questions, like 2-3 hours a day. And then I was just like, I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah.
But then I felt bad saying no because I knew the answer and I could easily help.
Yeah.
And then I just got in this loop of thinking that I had to help everyone. And it was like I was everyone's Google. Like it's so accessible just to message someone on Instagram. But I think what people don't realize is, well, that person has a job
And a
and they might
family.
have a family. And I know you want to know the answer to the question, but instead of you looking yourself, you're putting it on someone else. And now and I kind of felt like, well, now it's my thing.
So how do you manage that? You've obviously got resources. Do you just point them to the resources and they can buy the resources?
I've now I try to do a few things. So I've got like a nice little saved message where I try to point people, like just explain my boundaries, and be clear on boundaries. Boundaries is a big thing now that I'm older, in my 40s. Like just clear on that. Like I said, I was such a people pleaser. I'm wanting to help. So I point people to like a really great evidence-based Facebook group where at least it's like you can post on there and whoever has the capacity to answer can answer.
Yeah.
Or I might, I also have like a safe response and it will say like, this is a great textbook. So I try to point people in those directions. And then, or say like, this might be something you have to talk to a mentor or a supervisor or a colleague.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, just trying to put it back. I just think social media has really changed all that because everyone appears to be so instantly accessible.
Yeah.
I think we kind of forget.
There's a person behind the account, and it's a person running the account and putting their time into it and things like that.
Yeah.
So, you said the growth was slow, so you're sort of here now. Like, how long have you had Adventures in Speech Pathology? 10 years?
Oh, I should know this, shouldn't I? Yeah, because it started and it stopped. I think I started back up in 2017.
Yeah, okay.
And COVID, COVID years, everything just went boom because we all needed materials.
Yeah.
So that was a really big boom, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. And so then how then have you talked a little bit about setting boundaries. How else have you managed then having your clinic, having this business, and then your personal life? How do you manage that balance? What does that look like for you?
I've just started seeing a psychologist at the end of last year. I've seen psychologists on and off. Yeah. I've come to acknowledge that this drive, like I had a real drive and high achieving and probably over ambitious, which was great because the high achiever over ambition built my business, but it really wasn't sustainable. So now I'm in a period of trying to prioritize health and exercise, seeing a psychologist, eating better, trying to get more mental health. I mean, just even getting my ADHD diagnosis recently has just made everything make sense. Yeah, I just like to normalize all that stuff, and I really don't like to present that I've got it all easy, like on social media. I have a neurodiverse child as well. So parenting and going through all that is, extra layers. So it's hard. I kind of feel like literally this year, we're 4 months in, has been equipped me the best now because I've got so many things in place. But
what sort of things have you got in place? I need them. What sort of things have you got in place? What have you got in place this year?
Okay, so like every morning I get up and my kids are still asleep and I go for a walk, which is awesome because now I come home and I've listened to a podcast. I've done a great 5-kilometer walk and I do a little tapping.
How good's tapping?
Yeah, I just do it at the end of my walk. I sit out the front of my house and it's just a quick little 2-minute thing. I just do a 2-minute tap in and then I enter my house and I'm like, hello, family. Hello, children. I can braid your hair. No, not braid. I can plait your hair and help you with breakfast and, read your book. So I feel like entering my house after putting me first has been the best thing I have done. Otherwise, I started my day in chaos and I was cranky. I was just a cranky parent and I felt like I carried that crankiness and that annoyance throughout the day. So that's prioritizing me first. and that exercise. And I'm just really trying to put boundaries on when I look at my phone and social media and things like that. And I try not to even do a lot of stuff in the evening. And then the psychology has been really helping, connecting with some ADHD SLPs has been really wonderful too. Like people who just get me a bit more and we share strategies. And yeah, I find it a bit lonely working on my own.
Do you?
Really
Yeah.
lonely. I've realized that because I've always been really in clinics. So that's something I'm struggling with personally, trying to figure out how to being so busy, but saying, no, don't be so busy that you can't socialize. Or how do I get that? So I'm trying to look at
So if you're not getting it from work, where can you get it from? Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Well,
You don't have
that
to
would
get
be
everything
most of
from
us
work.
as well. You're not alone. I mean,
and I've got online friends, which is lovely. I've made so many connections online with speech pathologists, but I think, I'm trying to develop some more friendships just because I feel like I'm a bit of a newer person. Like I said, 40 for me was like life-changing, just a new decade and releasing people pleasing and working so hard, hustle culture, all that stuff. Trying to do more hobbies. Like I've got a puzzle out at the moment. I got Lego.
Oh, how good are puzzles?
Just all that stuff.
Puzzles.
I think I realized my 20s and 30s was quite a slog.
Yeah.
Would you take back though what you've done? Would you change your 20s and 30s?
No, because it's really helped me get to like a healthy space to where I am now. Just acknowledging balance and boundaries. But sometimes you need everything to crash down to realize what you have to put in place.
Yeah. Well,
And
me
do
and
you
Lizzy can speak
manage
to that.
absolutely. Do you manage all of your social media on your own, or have you got like people helping you?
Mostly all on my own. I've dabbled with some people helping me with some posts. And that's something I'm trying again with someone new, but I'd still pretty much, I'd say like 95% me in that hat, and then doing newsletters, blog posts. Like there's if I could literally list every single thing I do, it's a lot. So one of the biggest things I'm trying to do with Adventures in Speech Pathology is hire contractors just to like take over little bits. Like, can you do YouTube? Can you do, this little area? Someone helping me with design. So we only hire speech pathologists.
Cool.
Yeah, because it's great because so many of us are like really talented, or you might have been in the field for 20 years or even 15 years or even new graduates, but you want to do other little areas but still speech pathology related. So
that's so cool, I think.
Yeah, I think that's really good for a lot of people with their career progression as well, because if you're an ideas person, it's kind of boring just to do the same thing. And then you sort of still have a long time left in your career. And you go, is this what I'm going to be doing for the rest? I still have a heart to help people and I still love helping my children, but there's got to be more out there. So I think that's awesome, creating different opportunities for people to do that. And something that's using a different part of your brain, like if it's marketing or something, in a business type capacity. I think that brings a lot of fulfillment if you're one of those people that has the ideas and you like that creativity. That's awesome.
It's just something new. It's really fun. And then it's just fun to work with speech pathologists because, I don't know, Lizzy, if it's the same with you, but like when you get the same, like when speeches get together, all we do is we just talk speech, 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 speech. Like, we're so passionate about our job. So it's nice to hire speech pathologists and still be passionate and have that common area of interest, but then work our brain, differently.
So delegation there is a key thing as well. You need to develop that and to know, if you're going to be doing all these different things, how you tell people.
That's my husband. My husband works for Adventures in Speech Pathology full time now. So I'm like the front and he's the back. And he does a lot of stuff in the back. He does so much stuff. I just realized, again, ADHD, bring it back in, like, I was wearing every hat, but it was just burning me out and it was so overwhelming. And then I just felt like I just couldn't do it all. Like I really couldn't. Like I felt like I kind of could, but I was burning myself out, wearing every hat.
So you said that your business has got the resources. You just mentioned YouTube, and I saw that you're doing like a tour where you're speaking. So there's lots of different elements to it.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about, what it is, like all the different parts of your business?
Yeah. So, okay. So first of all, the digital resources
Yep.
is the biggest one. So yeah, you can download like a 50-page document or a 70-page document. A lot of it's homework sheets or posters or materials to support kids. And then I have started presenting and speaking, and that was big for me because I felt like I wasn't like a researcher, like I couldn't talk like a university lecturer. I had a lot of imposter syndrome about if I could talk.
Yeah.
Yep. That's something that is drilled in. I feel like that's a fault with our field. That's a big fault.
But then, so many people connected with how I would explain things on social media. And I like to say, like, I don't like to use big words. We've got so many big words in our field that my brain, when I hear a big word, even if it's just like, and the sibilant, I might have to stop for a second and go, wait a second. What's the sibilant again? And then it's like this. So I like to talk very simply without jargon.
Love it.
That hopefully when people listen to me, they follow me along, and they're not confused by a complex term that they got to stop and really think about. So I like to present like that. And I think I've just accepted that that's my style. And I really love to bridge the gap between research and clinical practice and bring so much of the clinical stuff, the real life stuff.
Yeah. That's a skill in itself. That's really hard to be able to go, I kind of read this and then how am I going to put this in my session? How does this actually work? Because the research is so far removed from real life. Like it's like we had such a controlled environment and we had this much time. And it's like, well, that's actually not how it works in the real world. So that's an amazing skill. That's what speechies need to bring that together.
Yeah, so I love doing that. So it's like we're doing a full day tour. But I've also got some like online courses as well that I've recorded a 4-hour course, and we've got like a free 1-hour one, and I'd love to do some more of that. So that's really lovely. And then YouTube, it's just fun to put clips out there. That's nothing, it's just I feel like Instagram, it's a bit hard to get seen now, algorithms and things like that. So that's why I'm putting stuff on YouTube. And
that'd be time consuming though, wouldn't it?
I have a YouTube person.
Oh, there you go.
A speech pathologist who helps. Yeah, I record the videos and she transcribes everything and makes sure the autocorrect, the auto captions understands my speech pathology terms. That's again why I hire speech pathologists.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I also publish I'm an author with a speech pathology company, Biorum Speech Publications, and I love actually working with an illustrator and like publishing really diverse, representative, inclusive materials for speech pathologists that are actual physical products, not ones that you like print. Yeah.
And then you just went on your tour. I saw that on Instagram because that was with Jenny and the team, wasn't it? So Jenny is the publishing or the publisher, and then they put on a cruise.
Don't more allied health professionals need to organise a PD cruise?
Yes, we would love to do that. That's something, again, it's on the list, right? On the list.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's so nice when you can get professionals together and then you can have the socialization and the connection with the learning. It was really special, really, really special.
And where was the cruise? It looked amazing.
Oh, we went to the Bahamas. When I have to say, I've just got to go speak on a cruise ship in the Bahamas, it felt...
That is the goal. You are like speaking my language here. This is amazing.
Yeah, we're such a talented field, and I think it's really lovely to hear different voices and to know that you don't have to be in an educational institution like a university to be able to empower and inform and educate our field. I think there's a real strength in hearing different voices, different people with different experience. I think we can all come together and really improve our allied health fields, to be honest.
Do you think America is more open to that than Australians?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard. It would be really hard to do that in Australia.
Yeah, and I still feel like I'll be going to our national conference this year, and I feel I will feel like, and I don't know if this is just my like thing, that's but like is someone from a university going to go, what does she know? She does not have a PhD. That
Yeah.
might just be me. It
Yeah.
I feel like
very
that.
much could be me, but I think I do have that worry of like, oh, I hope I have interpreted the research correctly and and I'm conveying the
Mm,
evidence correctly. Like I do worry about that.
yeah.
But then I did have an amazing researcher say to me, but you've been in the field for 17 years. Like think about what you know and what you've experienced and what you can share. Like we have to be able to tweak and be flexible and adapt when this plan doesn't happen. And maybe you do have to do something a bit hybridy because, the client is under the table or
Yes. Yes. The
Yeah,
research
that's
doesn't
right.
address that, does it?
yes. So that really empowered me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So where do you see you said you're trying to dial back on things, are you? Like, where do you see your business and things going? Or you keep going full steam ahead in your 40s? What do you think? What do you think for the future?
I think I'm looking to outsource more things. So like let's say for a project, for example, maybe I'm only involved 30% and 70%
Yeah.
other people. Yeah. So professional development is really important to me, and I would really love to do more to help our field. And yeah, so yeah, professional development, yeah, more resources. Yeah. Probably the same, just with less input because like I said, I've just burnt myself out wearing every hat and doing it all. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds like you've got a team of trusted professionals with you. Like, I think that's
All
really,
over the world too. It's really
that's
fun. Actually, we've got
awesome.
speech pathologists all over the world who, they might work 5 hours a week for us or something like that, like little bits, but it's really fun. Yeah, making like that global impact.
And you get more creative ideas. They might say, well, we
Absolutely.
wouldn't do that. What does that
Yeah, or
look
they
like?
say
How does
we
that
wouldn't
work?
use that word or oh this picture, it's I love having a team of speech pathologists look at something and bring their own lived experience so that
Yeah.
we can just create something
Mm.
yeah, that really can be used or yeah, around the world. Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
big thing. And I think because I studied in the UK, I lived in Samoa, I lived in America, like
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoy making something that's appropriate for SLPs all around the world.
Well, that's what's needed. Children are children, even if they speak a different language, we're all having the same types of issues and we're all needing to give similar types of advice. If it's in a different language, you're sort of saying essentially the same thing. And then it's amazing because then working with other allied health professionals, there's not a lot of education in other countries around the world. And so it enables like that education to be then like, what is it like when it's like a ripple effect?
Yeah,
If a species better
Mm.
trained, then they might be able to help like a physio or an EP. Like even EPs aren't trained in peds, are they, Lizzy? Like that's why
No, we
you've
don't
done
have,
peds
no.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then what we do and what they do in America and what they do in the UK is really, really different.
yes. It kind of depends on like who the researchers are at your university and like
Yeah.
Mm.
what their area of
Yeah.
interest is, I found. Because
Yeah,
I've learned
interesting.
completely different models of like stuttering from like all those different places, but they hadn't like heard or implementing. Like
Yeah.
America hadn't even heard of like the Lidcombe program and stuff, which is like huge in Australia. And I was like, what do you mean you've never heard of this? So it's really
Wow.
interesting, which is why I like to create materials worldwide and
Yeah.
where people live and
Well, you
I
think
think,
that would be better clinically as well, like ethically for children, right?
yeah, yeah,
Go. It's like sounds so simple, like sounds so basic. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we do that?
yeah, yeah. That's
Hmm.
my well, anyway, that's my passion. Yeah, really. helping.
And what are some of the big challenges that you've had in your journey? Like when you've been working for 17 years and having your own business and launching worldwide and whatnot, what's like some of the kind of core challenges that you've overcome?
A lot of mum guilt. A lot of
Mm,
mum guilt. Yeah, that's been a huge one. Yeah.
yeah.
Mum guilt's big. And then social media has been big. People, I mean, I think the world kind of knows that it can be a bit easy. Like these days, comments and things that people say now, like how we communicate online has changed, polarizing views. So it's been hard, very hard to receive feedback and negative comments. And
Mm,
like what has potentially felt like personal attacks or just criticism in general. I don't think I mean, like when a parent says, when you get criticism or
Yeah.
feedback and like my child didn't like that you said this, and I don't know about you, but like it really, like when we're
mm,
such a helping field, like it really hurts. So I'm very sensitive to feedback and
Yeah.
yeah.
perceived criticism. Um,
Yeah.
and then a lot of probably the thing that's been the hardest for me is that um, a lot, no, okay, how am I going to say this? My materials get shared a lot
Mm,
and like put on hard drives or put on university drives, and then people like freely share our materials, and that really is really
How
hard.
can you stop that? Like, how can we stop that? Because I feel like that happens with my online courses, and I know
Yeah,
you.
yeah. It's like, oh, I think, do you know, it's education, right? It's sharing with the field, and trying to say, like, I'm a real person. Like, if you've recorded a course and it's $50 and then you share it with your friend, that $50 was supposed to
Yeah,
benefit me, for my family, for my, like
mm,
to try to I mean, I try to humanize it,
yeah,
but then I get negative feedback sometimes saying, you're slamming or slandering your colleagues. And it's like it's a hard, like
Is it not stealing?
it is, and it's illegal and it's breaching copyright. It is, but I think, um, it is, but I
Yeah,
don't think sometimes I don't think we think of it like that. We just think,
yeah,
oh, you've got a child with a list. I've got something that can help you. Let me just email it to you. And you
Yeah.
forget that that was something that you paid for. That,
yeah,
yeah, it's because it's digital, like you're not
yeah,
going to like give someone a physical card deck for forever and go, here you go,
yeah,
or a toy or something like that. It's like, oh, you send the link, yeah, get this from Kmart, it's an awesome toy. But digital
yeah,
is so easy, you can just share it. So I'm trying
yeah.
to do a lot of online education, and I get support, but then I get a lot of criticism every time I do it too. So
I was going to say, how have people responded to that? Because you've been quite vocal about that, which is amazing. Thank you so much. The amount of businesses I have downloading my stuff, and I can see in their email, it's like admin at this. And then we email them and say, hey guys, is this for one person or is this for your business? And they say, oh, it's one person. But then like they complete the course multiple times. And I can see because they're
Yeah.
people that want a certificate. And I'm like, hello. Hello. So thank you so much for bringing it up. But how did people receive it initially when you were sort of talking about this? Because I don't know many people who have talked about it like you have.
look, I reframe everything from being a know better, do better SLP,
Yeah.
because I can honestly say that I have made these mistakes when I didn't know. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And back 17 years ago, when you could freely download stuff off the internet
Yeah.
Mm,
and things were for free, you could share that stuff and there wasn't any copyright or,
Yeah.
but now like I've got terms of use pages,
mm,
on my documents, or even at the start of PD, I might really specifically say, or in emails, this is for like really,
yeah.
this is for one person, so that you can't say that you didn't know. And then I
Mm,
just look, yeah, it's hard. It's hard because I
mm.
hear a lot of people say, well, I'm not paid well, or I don't want my colleagues to think that I'm cheap. And it's like, well, I want to be paid for my work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's
You
just,
get paid, and businesses, you chase up NDIS invoices.
yeah,
You expect to get paid. You get annoyed when plan managers don't pay
Mm.
your invoice.
yeah,
I actually want to get paid too. So why is it? Yeah. So it's hard.
Yeah.
I get very passionate and elevated about it. It's something that's very hard for me because when you do so much work, you
Yeah.
want to get paid for your
and
work.
it's your work. It's your work. Like they need to pay you for the rights to your work. I mean, that's just it, like, and I think we all get it because we're doing this like
I think
simple
you get
sort
it
of thing.
more when you're doing it and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, and that's why I say know better, do better.
yeah, that's right.
And when
Yeah,
you're on the other side and you realize,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just being on the
I-
other side. Yeah. Like so many people have come to me and said, oh my gosh, now I've started my own business. I get it. I
yeah,
get it. And it's exactly the same thing. Once you've got your own products or content that you've put your heart and soul into and you're putting them out there and people are just taking it, you only truly get that once you're actually in that position. But
yeah,
hopefully,
because
well,
like
hopefully
I
not though
said,
with
I
education.
do 40-hour weeks, and I'd earn $100 a month,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
I mean,
Well, and
we
I guess at
all,
the end of the day, it's going to stop you if people aren't paying for it, you're not going to be able to maintain it. So you're not going to be able to keep doing the resources, and everyone is going to be worse off for that. So if people want businesses to succeed, to continue to provide services or resources or training, then we need to support the business that's doing it.
just support the person who's making your life
Yeah,
easier.
yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yes. It's a mentality. It's a mindset. It's
It is.
about not being like, what can we take and take and take? How can we actually give and take and have that honesty and transparency and value?
I just really think more people need to speak up about it more in the
Mm.
field, to be
Mhm.
honest.
And so for your resources that they're doing that with, is it those digital resources, but also like courses? Because I've got online courses, they're accredited with ESSA, which is our governing body. So the person that's doing it and paying for it is going to get their 20 ESSA points. And if they share it with someone else, they might do it, but they're not going to get their 20 ESSA points, which you have to get every year. So I guess for me, it's like, well, if you're sharing it, only the person that's paying for it is going to get those points, which is a barrier to them stealing
It's
it.
not,
But
it's
it's not
not
the
quite,
same.
no. And I guess what I just try to do is like, where I can, as much as I can, I really make it clear the terms of use.
Yeah.
So like, when they get the course, it's really clear, like this is for one person only. Like this is not to be shared. Because then, yeah. And look, this is the other thing, and it's tricky, but I actually, whenever I do share about this, I actually have an anonymous online reporting form so that if a person is working at a clinic and they feel that guilt of like, I know we're doing the wrong thing, but if you feel like it's hard for you to bring it up, we have an online anonymous reporting form. And I really do encourage people. And again, we're no better, do better business.
Yeah.
I've got that mentality. I know I've done the wrong thing in the past, but when I know and I try to just do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just
I wonder if there's anything that Spark can do, like particularly with courses. Is there anything that you can like talk to them about?
Yeah, they supported last year with an ethics. I really, I advocated to get like an ethics spotlight in our magazine. And so that was put out in October, and it really clearly identified, like it gave you some really good scenarios, and then it really clearly identified the ethics that speech pathologists are breaching.
Yeah.
If they engage in this. So it is like, and I don't want to lose my SPA license. So it is.
Yeah. I did read that article. It was good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were behind it, but it was a good article.
Oh, yeah.
I actually read it and was like, oh,
it was
wow.
a 6 to 8 months, maybe longer. Yeah, I was I really wanted the support. I really wanted the support to put it out there to business owners and professionals to know, like I said, know better, do better.
Yeah. And that would be across any industry. It doesn't matter. Like there's so many online courses you can get these days. It's great that you can get development for yourself really easily. but it's getting it ethically in the right way, right?
Yeah, so I'd be putting disclaimers in, and even at the start of the video, like just to make sure this is like
Yeah.
explain your terms of use when you send your
Yeah.
email out on the thing. Put it in as many places as possible, make it visual, make it easy to understand
Yeah.
so that people know. So then it's hard to say, I didn't know. It's really
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As an industry, and I guess probably across allied health professionals, it's something that we all need to get better at because it is relatively new doing online courses and things in the
Absolutely.
scope of
Yeah.
how long we've been around. So, like you said, some people just don't know. But if you are listening to this podcast and you are going, okay, what are the resources that I've got in my practice or my workplace? Are they legit? Ask the questions. It's not going to hurt. And, me and Lizzy, we're business owners. If someone came to ask us the question, unless we were doing the wrong thing, I don't have a problem with that. I feel like if I was doing the wrong thing, then that might be a clear indication. But I would be like thinking, thank you so much that you have cared enough in working in our workplace to make sure that we're doing the right thing and that we're having this discussion. So I would really appreciate it. As a business owner, I wouldn't look down on you or think anything negative about it. So I would encourage you, particularly all of our students and new grads listening, that you have these conversations with people around you, your peers, and you are advocating. What's your phrase, Beck?
Know better, do better.
Know better, do better. I was gonna.
Yeah.
Know better, do better, SLP. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you are a student and you're on a really low wage or really low income, we all know what it's like to be a student. We all know what it's like to be living off breadcrumbs and to have no money, right? But you either then need to forego the resource and make it yourself, or you just need to do the right thing because that resource will then span you your entire career. You can then reuse it and reuse it. So it's not a wasted investment. There's no wasted investment when you're investing in yourself and your clients and your clinical success, which is their clinical success. But I get it as a student, but you've got to weigh it up and you've got to do the right thing.
And I claim it as a tax expense too if I purchase things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So any other questions, Lizzy? We got any other questions, Rebecca?
No, I think I've just got so much out of it. I'm so excited to, watch your journey and see what's next. I love the creativity that you're bringing to your business and really excited to see how the tour goes and how that all,
It's a show. We say we're like Taylor Swift.
Amazing.
It's a show. I've got sweatbands, I got music. Like
You
we
get down on your
put
knees and do a
show.
slide at the front and do a massive jump into the crowd. Oh no, she jumps in the stage, doesn't she?
I got a long stage. Yeah, no, I love
So good. Where are you going on the tour?
Oh, we've got Adelaide, Brisbane, Townsville, and Canberra coming up. And
Because you've already done Sydney and Melbourne.
Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Newcastle. Yeah. It's fun. And we've got some international prospects, but I'm a mum, so I'm really trying to figure out, figure things out. But no, I really love empowering and inspiring and being real and normalizing a lot of things in our field and being really honest, the real honesty. I really enjoy that about meeting speech pathologists.
We need more like that, I think, particularly as speechies, but as allied health professionals, we need to have people who are real
and who don't portray that everything's easy and you should know all this. Yeah, that's my something.
No, I just said before, it took me 5 years to feel like I felt legit.
Yeah,
it took me way longer than that.
Yeah, we need to hear this, I think, especially as new grads. Yeah, social media can portray things that aren't real life. So
yeah, and I think that's important to know. If you're getting your information off socials, you're just seeing a 30-second snippet. You haven't seen that person's entire day. Or things like that. But thank you so much for talking to us. This has been amazing. We can completely relate to you on so many levels. It's nice to know that we're all trying to do this journey, and we all have the same similar types of things that we are trying to do for better, trying to balance. And if you're listening and got your entire career ahead of you, it's all ahead of you. It's exciting, but everyone's sort of walking that road and no one's got it all together. But it can be exciting and it can be amazing. You will fail. You probably will fall on your face, but that's okay. That's part of the journey, right? And that's what makes it makes for a good story later. We've really appreciated your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've loved chatting the whole spectrum of
Yeah.
what we can do in our roles too. It's so nice that we don't just have to see clients if we are multi-passionate and multi-skilled.
Yeah. Well, follow Rebecca on Adventures in Speech Pathology. Have a look at your website, right? Because you've got all your tour information there. We will pop in our show notes a little, like you will put in your website, and then we'll put in, you've sent us a little freebie or a download, I think, for people to get. So we'll pop that in the show notes. And then I think that's it. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. And it's been great chatting.
Yeah, amazing. Your story is very inspiring. So thank you for sharing that with no doubt very, very hectic schedule.
No worries.
You're amazing.